Hello everyone. How are y'all doing today? Hey Foxy, hey Barbaric, or Clown? Clown. How are you doing? It was wonderful playing games with you, by the way, Clown. You were a lot of fun to play with. Which reminds me, I need to follow all y'all. No, this is Pumpkin. This is Pumpkin, the essentially the face of the charity that I'm doing for the next couple weeks. It's for, oh my gosh, I had it off the top of my head, so I have like no sleep. Stream for a Cause. They do a lot of good work as far as like doing different charities, and they have like a Halloween event and stuff going on, so. Yeah, no, same. Let's definitely hang out more. Let's definitely hang out more, Clown. I'd love that. And in fact, I'll probably be catching up with all y'all because I do a 24-hour Halloween stream. So, like, I'm looking at other, like, collab games like GTFO, if you've ever heard of that one. That one's actually really funny with friends. I promise I won't do, what I did the one time during one Halloween where I was like, you know, I've never day drank before, and I really like Halloween, so I'm just gonna day drink all day. And Ella, how are you doing? Yeah, no. I'm telling a story of the most drunk I've ever been. No, scratch that. Second most drunk I've ever been. It was like a random Halloween like 3 or 4 years ago, and I never day drank before. So for those that don't know, I'm not a drinker. Like, I don't drink. I'll follow up with the most in a bit. So this is both a tale of you should be smart with drinking. So because I didn't really drink, especially in college, because I was an RA, and when you're an RA and you're seen drinking and you're like being inappropriate like that, you could lose your job, and that was paying for my room and board. So I wasn't gonna risk my ability to go to college off of drinking, and I just wasn't a fan. I didn't like the taste of it, and then I eventually learned about ciders and mixed drinks and everything. So I eventually got into alcohol more after I went to my master's degree, where I had friends who were super into it, and they were like, we're gonna find you a beer that you're gonna like, which led to my discovery of Sour Monkeys, and that led to the most drunk I've ever been. Anyway, backtrack. So love Halloween, loved it. I was like, you know what? We should try day drinking. We've never day drink before. We've only socially drank. We only like did things. Let's just casually drink all day. So at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I start taking shots from lemon vodka throughout the day, and I would mix it with like Sprite or whatever. Like, I would mix it with stuff. I would do kind of like my own version of mixed drinks. And one of those games that we played was GTFO, which, for those that don't know, it's a very like gritty, realistic, but very scary and cool game where you have to like go around and kill these zombies or like mutated things with like sledgehammers. Oh, Ella, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much for contributing to the donation stuff. And just like we talked about yesterday, I'd be happy to help you go through the process of like how I went about doing this. And before I continue the story, there's a couple of things that we unlocked because of that. Because we just went past our $50, and I apologize, it's hard to read on the signs. I was working on adjusting that today, but I had like 3 hours of sleep last night, so it was a struggle. And so what that unlocked, especially for you, Ella, because you're the one who took us through the thing, you will get a free pumpkin sticker, because you unlocked the ability for everyone to get their own pumpkin sticker at my merch store. And anyone who has spent at least $10, including since the beginning of this, if you spent at least $10, you will get a 50% off coupon for it. So just a heads up, if you put at least $10 towards it, you'll be able to get 50% off in the store for it. And because it was over 5, we spin the wheel. We spin the charity wheel. I'm looking for the display capture. There we go. All right, we spin the wheel. What to donate but struggling with? Don't worry about it, Foxy. Don't worry about it. Listen, every little bit helps. You being here is more than enough. Okay. All right, we spin. What do we get? What do we get? What do we get? Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. I swear to God, if it's... Is this wheel broken? Is this wheel broken? We have gotten 20 squats in a row. Hold on. Let me do it again. I will do the 20 squats. I want to make sure this isn't broken. Let me do it again. If it squats again... okay. All right. Never mind. 20 squats. All right. Okay, 1 second. Oh, God. All right, count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Ooh. Oh gosh, honestly, that would be funny. But yeah, as long as you spend at least $5, then we spin the wheel. Someone else has to listen to her little tucky. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so Ella, remind me. I will. Oh hell yeah, Ella, hell yeah. Oh, I don't think you knew this story. I will eventually get back to my original story, don't you worry. I go to tangents. One time, the first time that Kai joined me on stream was a power washing stream. And someone redeemed a hydrate redeem. And she was like, you know what? I will also participate in your redeems and drink some water. And I was like, oh, so you're going to participate with my redeems, right? And she goes like, yeah. Not realizing I have workout redeems on my stream. So what my community did was use all of their channel points and redeemed so many workout redeems, where both of us had to do, I think it was like 160 push-ups, 150 squats, and like 400 crunches. It was so funny. I have to send you. I made a 10-minute, almost like just like a tongue-in-cheek to make fun of it, a workout ASM like thing, like sounds to sleep to, of Kai and I struggling and dying in the background with rain happening. I need to send you that video. Yeah, I think it's some of the funniest shit I've ever done. It's so funny. It's so good. Oh my gosh. I was like, there's no way. You got it. I also got some caffeine because boy, did I need it today. My poor little Marble. I don't know what was wrong with her, but she got me up at like 2 hours into my sleep. And then after that, she just kept waking me up over and over and over again. Oh man. Don't, please no. Please no, please. Please. Wait. Anyway, day drinking. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Oh, but yeah, Ella, I'll give you a code so that it's free for the thing, and we will I'll go ahead and actually turn on the ability to buy the pumpkin sticker now. I'll do that right now. And then anyone who has spent $10, I believe I already know who that is, but if, just in case, message me on our Discord, or at me on the Discord to let me know that you've donated at least 10, and I'll get you a 50% off code for that. And yeah, and then our next hump is $100, and you'll just have to see. I've been this week so I can sleep finally. Hell yeah. While I'm setting this up, I don't know why it's not doing it. I'll continue my story. So I'm daydreaming. We're doing GTFO, which is, again, you're supposed to be silent. That's the whole shtick. The whole shtick is that you want to be silent. You have guns, but it will alert all the enemies in all the other rooms, and you'll get swarmed and die. Like, it's very hardcore in that way, which makes it funny. But I apparently was starting to get drunk. I think I was about a quarter of the way through that bottle of vodka at that time, and I kept on getting too close to the enemies and alerting them, and then being like, guys, stop alerting them. Like, I wasn't registering that I was the problem, and apparently it was really funny. But the long and short of it is I may or may not have finished the bottle that day. So even though I don't drink actively, I am Irish, and apparently my Irish heritage makes me quite tolerant to alcohol, including the ability to drink an entire bottle of vodka in one day. And only thing I remember near the end of the day was my friends having me go into a Final Fantasy XIV raid, in which I've never done before, and being like, guys, I don't know what's happening. They're like, just heal us when we get low and just don't fall off the map. And as soon as someone said that, I fell off the map. I remember there being a giant spider lady. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's weird that it just allows it to go through. So I remember that. I remember a giant spider lady. Yeah, I think I did the Alliance raid, yeah. And then I immediately fell off. Oh, I remember Giant Sphere. Yeah, big orb. I remember big orb and then falling off the big orb level immediately. So yeah, all that was happening. And then I immediately got sick in the toilet after that, because I probably had some level of alcohol poisoning. But yeah, okay, now to the next thing in the mental queue, which is the most drunk I've ever been. So the most drunk I've ever been was, my friends are trying to find out which beer that I actually like. Like, they're big drinkers. It was like a whole thing, and I think y'all will get a kick out of this, but in my master's degree, essentially it was me and two guy friends, and we just like clicked on like such a personal level that it was essentially like, I wouldn't say canon, but our group, because overall I think the master's degree was only like 12 people or something like that, saw us three as like a throuple. Which, by the way, sorry to disappoint, I'm not into men. I want to put that out there. I should clarify that. But it was we very much played the role of, you know, the stereotype where there's nothing more actively gay than straight men that pretend to be gay with each other, I think is the phrase. Where it's just like, why are y'all saying that about each other? That kind of level. Anyway, one of the three of us drank, like, just drank before a test and aced it or something, so we just put forward the idea of like, oh, he's an alcoholic, and it just kind of stuck. The other one was a person who was a workout bro because he would come to class in a sleeveless t-shirt after going to the gym and then just do like random push-ups against the table while he's talking. But I knew he has severe ADHD. he just needs to move his body to focus. So, but the teachers hated him. But again, super smart people. More gay than being gay. Exactly, Foxy. So anyway, the person that was labeled kind of like the alcoholic as a joke, was trying to get me to find me a beer, and we eventually found Sour Monkeys, which is sour beer, and I love sour things. So I was like, hey, I'm willing to try Sour Monkey. Let's give it a shot. Why not? And to be fair, Sour Monkey isn't bad. It's not bad. As far as beers go, it's definitely up nearer the top than the bottom. And so there was a party that night. It was just like a house party. And we were just kind of drinking and having a good time. And then like 3 or 4 beers in, I want to say, I'm feeling it. And I'm like, that's weird. Because, I have a higher tolerance than a good amount of people. I was like, I shouldn't be feeling it after 4 beers. I look at the Sour Monkey. It's 8%. Sour Monkeys are 8% alcohol. For reference, a normal beer, I think, is like 3 or something. Like close to that. But I was like, oh no. So then I finished the 6-pack, and then they were like, hey, we're gonna go to the bar now. And I'm like, bet, let's go. So we go to a nearby bar, and we go there, and 60% alcohol. Yeah. And I get a Blue Moon and a Chaser. And then, because I hated Blue Moon. I hate Blue Moon. But what I will say is that when you're drunk, Blue Moon tastes like water. So it does go away, turns out. But that Blue Moon and a Chaser was the final straw. Beer's like 5%. Oh, I thought it was closer to 3. Okay. Anyway, it was like essentially for every 1 beer I had of Sour Monkey, it was like 1.5 of a normal one. It looks. Were you trying to die? No, I just didn't know. And by the time, so I was fading at that point. I essentially what I like to call like browned out, where I was kind of like fading in and out of memory. I remember getting the Blue Moon and the Chaser, and then I remember I remember going to my Uber that I guess I ordered, and then I remember getting into the wrong Uber, and then I remember getting into my Uber, and then apparently my drunk self was very money savvy, because I apparently ordered it. That's me. A ride share one where you ride with other people to save money. Apparently I chose that one. I remember introducing myself to the people, and then I remember those people leaving. I don't know what happened between those 2 moments. I hope I didn't act a fool, but who knows what happened between those 2 moments, because I don't. And then the next thing I remember was that the driver was trying to get my attention to like get me home, because at the time I lived in a gated like apartment complex, and the like auto map thing wasn't properly tracking like past the gate, and they wouldn't let them get past the gate, and so it had them go like this weird way like that's next to it. And that's when I felt my stomach start to flip, and I was like, you know what, this area is just fine. And I got out of the Uber and I threw up on the curb like right there. And by the time to turn around, that guy was gone. And luckily I was like well within walking distance, so I just walked or stumbled like to my apartment complex. Now what I will add, because it wasn't a very good idea that I did this, is that my apartment complex is next to a highway. So I was stumbling in the grass next to a highway. So don't do that. No one do that. I was fine, but don't do that. And I got up to my apartment just fine, passed out, and then I woke up like 6 to 8 hours later, still drunk. And I felt my first ever hangover, because this was the first time I drank like way too much, in real time. I felt myself go from drunk to hungover in real time, which was a wild experience and one I don't recommend. So drink responsibly if you're of age. This is the moral of the story. Don't do that. This is a story of warning to all those. I mean, Gary made me drink the equivalent of 80 beers in one day. That's crazy. So sad it's got nerfed with hangover. You see, one comes with the other. Anyway, yes. So that's my story. All this to say, GTFO is really fun. It can be stressful, but that's a game that I plan on playing on the 24-hour stream. That if other people want to join me on, they are welcome to. Drink until they are drunk. I think it's a social thing. Yeah, I think it's just a social thing. One of my friend's buddies process substances extremely quickly so they can get drunk and hungover at the same time. That's wild. Yeah, if you have the high enough metabolism. Yeah, no, boy, I was telling the GTFO story, and it just kind of chained into other stories, and then we slowly backtracked back to the original. Yeah. Most don't know that what the limit is, so they drink more they can handle. Yeah, sometimes you have to like experiment in order to like find your limit, but it's good you need to respect that limit. Like, it's not good drinking until you're super like not okay and hungover is not a thing you should be doing to your body, right? It just shouldn't be, and that's just how it be. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to that. To that, but I'll be messaging out to pretty much all the collaborating people that I've been collaborating with to see if anyone's available, as well as like I also kind of just want to watch spooky YouTube video, because I did that last year where in between games I did an hour of watching spooky YouTube videos, and like the Manhattan Project, something like that. And then, but this time I was thinking like, oh, it would be kind of cool to have like friends join me as we watch stuff. And that's like a good time to like eat and rest your voice, and it's just a good time. And it's like 5 to 6 beers on a good day. Yeah. High school, I've never been so burnt out in my life. Life so far, Scallion. Life so far. Oh man. I never found my limit because I already can handle more than necessary before getting there. Yeah, my limit's pretty high, but I have found it. I'm not so familiar that I could be like, okay, but I could tell usually the way I go about it is that if I'm starting to feel it even a little bit, then I switch to a alcohol water 1:1 ratio, and that has prevented me from getting anywhere close to that edge where it's a problem. So if you're of age, that's something that I recommend, is that you kind of gonna go half and half with water, and then you don't have a hangover problem. I know there are things that you can take that will help alleviate it, like IV and stuff like that, or Pedialyte. Things that are like really high in those electrolytes that kind of like help reduce that impact, especially when you get older. It gets worse when you get older. Joining TRPG club that joins up once every 6 weeks. Cool. Hell yeah, Scallion. I'm happy for you. But yeah, no. what am I gonna say? Oh, right. I'm gonna turn on the pumpkin. It is now public, so that is now available for people to get. But if you've donated, hold off so I can give you the 50% off. And Ella will be getting a free one because she's the one who took us over the edge. Over the edge of glory. And then, yeah. So then the next hump is the $100 one. We'll unlock something special as well. Okay, as far as what we're gonna be doing today, because some of y'all are probably just like, all right, story time. It's been 25 minutes. You've been yapping the whole time. To be honest, all that I was thinking of doing is like I knew I wanted to do some kind of spooky game. I was kind of going on, I was on the fence for a couple of them. I see Zukosis added a rhino, but we just played Zukosis recently. So I think what I want to do is I want to go around and play different horror demos, because there's been a couple that is on my to-do list, and so depending how long these go, I know there are some that I want to play with other people, so it might be something that we'll try out here first and then we play it again with other people, because that could be fun. But the first one that I'm thinking of was Final Sentence. It's that typing game. Five Nights at Paleomancer. I did say I wanted to go through all the Five Nights at Freddy's games with y'all. But I was waiting until a new game, and then a new game came out, but I was away. So I was like, well, shit. So we'll wait till the next one. Or at the very least, maybe what we could do is like when the second Five Nights at Freddy's movie comes out, we'll use, basically I've been looking for an excuse. I'm just looking for like an excuse to go through them all. Besides just like because we feel like it, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking about us doing Final Sentence. Because I've been seeing it around. It seems like fun. I think I have a decent typing speed. I don't type like one finger at a time, so that's decent, I guess. We need to watch the first one. We do need to watch the first one. That is true. I am actually pretty excited to start doing movie nights with y'all. That's gonna be fun. Like movie nights on Discord and stuff like that. Like once a week. So I am working towards that. All right, so let's start heading in that direction then, yeah? Final Sentence. And then, from what I can tell, the ESRBs are going to be a little... Oh, are we good? Okay, we're good. Yeah, go ahead, gameplay. Where are you? Is this it? The end? If so, that's crazy. It is. Okay. Well, it's a little laggy, but that's all right, I suppose. We watched the Blair Witch Project and Rec during the Horde Lit class. Ooh, Rec is something I highly recommend. Damn, look at that delay, dude. We'll definitely need to mess with this. Okay, that's game audio. All right, if that's game audio, let's go ahead and turn this off. Show FPS. Show, we don't need ping. Let's get the master down a little bit, considering. Microphone's good. Oh, actually, microphone, we should turn that off. Voices, we'll turn that off as well. Just in case. Just in case. We don't want them to hear us, and just in case they drop some stuff, we're not gonna get banned. So let's do that. That's something that we could turn on maybe when we're not streaming, or when we have like we can have a way so that we know everyone in the place is good. Okay. But for those that don't know, essentially this game is a typing battleground kind of game where you're supposed to type. You need to be the first person to finish like typing these sentences, and then everyone else dies. I thought it was pretty interesting concept overall, and it seems really fun, and I've been seeing other people like release videos about it, so I kind of wanted to play it. And for those that don't know what the ESRB thing is, that I mentioned occasionally, ESRB is just kind of like a rating system that they put on television, right? And since I'm going towards more of like a late 90s, early aughts aesthetic with like the Adult Swim-esque kind of inspired themes, I wanted to make our own custom ECRBs so that people who watch my stream, especially if they have phobias, especially if they have things that they need to be worried about, like flashing or loud sounds, like not accommodations, but just making it so that people know what they're getting themselves into, while also kind of using it as an avenue of creativity, right? Okay, so there's gonna be there isn't gambling per se, falling, jumping, alcohol, violence. There is technically violence. We need a gun one. We need gun. Animal death, stalking, flash. There's going to be guns, so that noise and flash. Come on. Nope. Wrong one. Boop and boop. And gore, blood. No, where is death? There you are. Boop. Well, if that's the case, then we'll put that there and then death there. Perfect. Look at that. I think that's accurate. Only saw the last half of the Pledge with her, so it just seemed like a bunch of screaming people. I mean, to be fair, that is most of the movie, you know? All right. Now this is final sentence. Final sentence. Oh, I dropped my mouse. My mouse dropped. Final sentence. There we go. Boop. All right. Do I have a laptop or PC? Only a Chromebook. Yeah, I mean, it seems a little laggy. It seems to be pulling a lot of resources, but I'm noticing, well, actually not really. I don't know why Mama Dodo's lagging with this. But we're moving forward regardless. Ooh, I know exactly which costume, which Mama Dodo we want. Boom. Guys, look at this. This is perfect. It's like I made a new Mama Dodo costume just for this game. This is perfect. Hand Mama Dodo for a typewriting game. Match made in heaven. Let's go. All right. Matchmaking in progress. Oh. Okay. Sup, my guy? How you doing? Uh-oh. This is definitely an American keyboard, as I learned from Bappy that their keyboards are different over in Europe. It's not laggy. Okay, good. I guess it was just the first part. Who knew? All right.
Welcome, contestants. The game begins now.
Oh, okay. End line with enter or space. Shift is optional for capital. Oh, ooh. Shift is optional for capitals. Ooh. Europe. I don't know where it's different. I don't know. Round 1 cleared. Well done. Oh. Empty line ends a round. Am I supposed to hit enter? Let's see. Mistake sends you back. Yeah. 3 mistakes, start roulette. Mistakes, reset each round. Stay sharp. Okay, I don't hit enter. Or maybe you don't hit enter the last one. I don't know. I've been hitting enter and not hitting enter, and they both. I can't tell. To win, enter. Okay. Finish all the text first. Good luck. Yeah, take that. I give you the thing. That would honestly be a really funny.
The other players will now be eliminated.
Oh, sure. Eliminated. That means they're taking them out. Yeah, they took them out to lunch. Mm-hmm. Look at that. Okay, so where accuracy was good, our worst per minute is pretty low. It's 72. That's not great. That's not the best, but we're working through it. Okay. All right. Play your first 3 matches and learn the basics. Okay. We got this. My mom would be disappointed. I say that because she types really, really, really quickly. Yeah, I'm a hand. This was originally made for Bunny Graveyard when you're a floating hand, but I figured with this game, hey, we have 35 different Mama Dodo costumes now. We have a lot of costumes. Feel free to redeem any of them if you want. I think it's still on. I might be off. If so, let me know. Oh, whoop! I accidentally fat-fingered spacebar. Congratulations. Ooh, fat-fingered! I wouldn't die from the first one, would I? Right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Congratulations. Now let's add commas. Too many M's. Now let's add commas, dashes, dots. Okay. Ooh, ooh. Costumes are off. All right. As soon as we're done with this, I'll turn it back on for y'all. I could only have like 16 of them. On the table shows time left. If it hits 0, bang, bang. The man in the black coat is gay. Shoots. Also, if you want to see every single Mama Dodo costume, we actually have a Mama Dodo museum in the Discord. If you want to check it out. That has all of them. Above the text are squares, and you can redeem to bring one back if they, like out of the vault. They count mistakes. 3 mistakes. Russian. Ooh. Oh. Man, that guy really didn't make a mistake, huh? Wow, somebody doesn't have a job. I'm just kidding. All right, let's turn that on. Let's turn it on. Let's turn on the different costumes. Let's turn it on, because why not, right? Why not? And boo-boo. Do we don't want to drink the Dodo potion is funny, but we don't need to add that on yet. Ooh-hoo. Mavis Beacon. Who's Mavis Beacon? I do not understand this reference. You will find that I am old not only in age, but also in spirit. All right. Okay, let's do this again. We got this. Oh my gosh, what is with my mouse? It just wants to fall. Oh, I wonder if this needs to be the other way around. Maybe it is. Oh, sorry. Progress has been made. Time to test all keys. Sorry, learn type software in the early 2000s. Gotcha. I would be. They would be disappointed. Numbers first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. I am poor Victorian child in spirit. Hell yeah. Letters next. QWERTY UI op. ASCII. Oh. SDFG. Nope. SDFGHJKL. CXCVB and M. Oh, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. Do you see that person way over there? Are you kidding me? That was symbols. Dash, dash, dash. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Oh, wrong one. Come, yep.
Congratulations.
Hey guys, we might not be good at this game.
Will now be eliminated.
I'm just a hand. To be fair, I am typing with one hand, so maybe I think that's on me. I think that's on me. Again. This is kind of fun, though. We got this. We won the first one, but I think it was a tutorial against bots, so I don't think we count it.
The game begins now.
Well, I only drew one hand from Dodo. Let none who value their mind... Let none who value their mind unseal this folio. What? Oh my gosh. Don't worry, guys. We're surely gonna win this one. There we go. Et nihil. That was a fat finger. What are you gonna do? Shoot me? Et nihil romanet. Et nihil. Et nihil remanet nisi umbra et sibilis, and nothing remains but shadow and whisper. For each line is a key and a wound in the world. Oh! Don't worry, we're 9th. The 4th seal, fractum, est, nope. What? The 4th. I think my brain. Okay, this is what this is a good reason to sleep. Remember for your sleep, guys, when you have 3 hours of sleep, you're typing, you get stupid. Your typing also gets stupid. Everyone's like, we're just gonna watch you die for the next hour, and I'm like, yeah, probably.
Welcome, contestants.
I know, right?
Game begins now.
Preheat oven to 180 degrees. So no, I put Celsius with a C. Preheat oven to 180 degrees Celsius. You think I should know how to spell that? I put stray instead of tray. I think part of it is that I'm saying while I'm typing, but I refuse to not do that. That was a fat finger. Line standard tray. 25 by 25 centimeters with parchment. Measure all ingredients precisely as compared to not precisely. No deviation. Definitely Italian. Activate silence protocol before handling mix. Oh. I know the school that I actually went to in Florida had Italian. I don't recommend learning Latin because I did and it didn't help me at all. Grams flour sifted. 150 fat finger. 150 grams caster sugar. I hit D instead of period. I don't even know why. I don't know what word would be sugared. You wouldn't kill a guy with a hand, would you? That's what I thought. Hee hee hee. 150 grams caster sugar. 2 whole eggs. Grade A. Room temp. 2 whole eggs. I put too many G's. 2 whole eggs. Grade A. Room temperature 140. Did I hit 5 instead of 4? Actually, I don't know what it thought about that one. I live these. Well, which language would you feel is interesting? Don't worry, guys. We have a perfectly good. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look at our ratio. It's like, is the only one that you've won the tutorial? It's like, no. Maybe. Perhaps. I fat finger a lot. I'm sorry. I have big hands. I can't help it. I have big hands. Me blaming anything. A, apple. B, ball. C, cat. D, dog. E, elephant. F, fish. German is good. Latin is interesting, just it's not useful. I thought it'd be useful in science. It wasn't. That was a fat finger. House. I. Ice. J. Jump. K. Kite. L. Lion. M. M. Moon. Oh, why? Did you have like a really bad Spanish teacher or something, Scallion? Nest. Orange. P. Piano. Q for queen. R for river. S for sun. T for tree. We were talking about this the other day, but if you could remove any letter of the alphabet, which one would you remove? U, umbrella. V, violin. Oop. V, violin. W, window. X, xylophone. Y, yacht. Z. Are you serious? We were on Z Zebra! And we lost! No! We were so close. We were so close. Stage teachers throughout 12 years. It took damn damage. Damn, that would do it. Q is definitely up for grabs. I think K was the solid was a solid get. I think K was good. We got all the demo quests, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna win. We're gonna win one of these. We're gonna show them whose hand they've wrought. If this hand is one of mercy, of pain. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to think of any references to hand. If we win, I'll turn this glove into gold and call it Midas's touch. That's about it. That's all I got. Uh-oh. La la, lee lee, lulu, lo lo, lee lee, la la, lo lo. Kiki, coco, cuckoo, kaka, can't say that. Kiku, coco, kiki. Mimi, momo, moo moo, mimi. Mimis, mimi, momi. Na, nini, nini. Oop. Na na, nini, nini. No no, nuna, nini, ninon. Za za. Oh gosh, this one's bad. Za za. Oh, okay. Well, excuse the hell out of me. Some of these guys, get out of here. You've already mastered the class. What are you doing here? It's like that one kid that skews the curve of the test. Like, dude, just go. Just get out of here, man. What the hell? What is with these crazy people? Watch a person who the typing is their job. Granted, I'm not that fast of a typer. Me flashbacking to the beginning of this stream where I was like, I'm a pretty fast typer. To be fair, my typing speed isn't bad. My typing mistakes are bad. This is a fun way to practice, though. In restaurant, Uh-oh. Restaurants. It's in restaurants. Just do it. Just end me now. Just do it immediately. Okay. In restaurant. In restaurants, it's chaos galore. Baneslayer calls for soup number 4. Smoke and screams. The kitchen's in Frin. To be fair, I got through that first sentence. It wouldn't be one or the other. I'm gonna lip. It's gonna rain all day. It sounds like a wonderful day. I love rain, dude. Favorite, especially like a good, like light thunderstorm. Forget about it. So good. Then you like cozy up, get like a good comfy blanket up and listen to the rainfall while you like read or watch something. Like, so good. Hi, Anna. I lick you. Gross. You are pretty and fast at ruining. Do you want to be best twins? I spelled it like twins because I was trying to be funny. Best friends? Yes. No. Maybe. Going to the vintage stores today to get items for Halloween fit. Hell yeah. Okay. Hey, Anna. You looked at me today, I think. Your hair was... My mistakes. I need to not make as many my mistakes. This will teach me not to do my mistakes. I'm gonna sing and talk differently. I was going to, and then I gave myself a migraine. I wanted to say hi, but I just froze. Maybe next time I can be brave, like All Might. It's like, oh, it's the same universe. We ain't making through this, guys. We ain't making through this. Hi, Anna. I don't know if you'd even read this, but I hope a part of you remember. It really is the mistakes. It really is the mistakes that get me. Haha! Again! But I hope a part of you remembers me. Maybe one day you'll find these words. Maybe that will be enough. Oh, gosh. Just end it! End it, you coward! End it! Hello, Anna. I lived my whole life without you in it. Sometimes I hear laughter and turn too fast. Then I remember where I am. Oh, I wanted to know the end of that, actually. Also, that's the kind of person that leaves like notes in a horror game, you know? It's like, who's leaving these notes around that are just like, I hear something around the corner, I better go check it out, but first I'm gonna write it down on this note and just slap at the end of the tile of this wall. It's like, oh, I mean, it's good exposition for us, but like that, why would the person write notes like that? It would be funny to add that in our game, just like a random note thing that you can find, but we poke fun of the idea of a person writing notes down and just putting it randomly in different things. Like journal entry number 475 or something. Oh, what if we did that? What if there was like a file we could access and one of your coworkers has like hundreds of journal entries and we write all of them? Oh god. Twinkle, 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 little star, how I wonder what you... How... Please no. I like this song. Please. Okay. How I wonder what you are. Up above the world. Up above the world so high. Like a diamond in the sky. That was a fat finger, unfortunately. When I don't say it's a fat finger, it's me being stupid. In case you haven't been keeping track, that's most of them. Like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Oh, we're not as far back as I thought we were gonna be. Like, damn, we messed up a lot. We're behind by like a full round, but still. Knock, knock. Who's there? Boo, boo, hoo. Don't cry, stupid. It's just a joke. Ha ha, got you. Punches you in the face. All right. Next quote, next quote. I am your father. No. Use the Force, Luke. Help me. Help me. Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. May the forces... I said it as a joke and I typed it. Force be with you. Oh. Alright, we're slowly catching up, kinda? Only kinda. If we speed through this, we might be able to make it work. The cake is a lot. The cake is a lie. Do a barrel roll. Do a barrel roll. All your base are belong to us. What? Press F to pay respects. I can has... Don't you dare. Actually, you know what? End it. That guy's about to end it right now. Okay. Looks like I suffer another day just to die. Oh. Has cheeseburger. One does not simply... Fat finger. One does not simply walk into Mordor. Don't worry. Yep, there it is. All right, we'll do our first recharge. I want to keep going until we win one more time. Just once. Just one win is what we need. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Look at all these. Look at all these levels. Oh boy. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, we could host a lobby. So we can do like a community one. That would be fun. That'd be fun to do like a community one. Whew. Let me see here now that I'm thinking about it. Let's see here. I'm just looking at the incentives things because Ella gave us 25. Once that's unlocked, honestly, some of these I want, they're like locked behind like the goals, etc. There's some of these that I think would be better if we just, maybe we should just tell everybody. Right? I'll consider it. I'll consider it. Because I have one essentially every $5 up to $25. And then there's a $30 one and then a $50 reward as well. So Ella would be able to go all the way up. From, it would get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's getting 5 things for donating $25. Okay. So I think that's what we'll do. I think, because I had some of them hidden, by the way, because it's like, ooh, we could unlock a new pumpkin sticker. Like, we can unlock more of that. But, the issue is, you can't get the reward until we unlock the second pumpkin sticker, which we unlock at $150, right? I think it's good to have the incentives up and then be like, it's locked, like unlocks at once we reach $150. I think it's just good to have that everything written out. So what I'll probably do instead of the signs with pumpkin, even though it's cute, it's not very legible, is I'm gonna make a Canva with the whole list on there and just have everything out in the open for people to know. All right, welcome back. We're gonna go until we win one. Once we win one, we can move on to another demo. But we got this. We got this. All right. I'm seeing all these names on the bottom right. Ha, you guys can't see it because I'm in the way. All right, what's... Okay, 1 for the crow that hides the tree. 1 for the crow that hides in the tree. 2 for the shoes that ran without me. 3 for the bell with a broken ring. 4 for the puppet who tried to sing. Who'll be the last to take the step? No! Who'll be the last to take the step? Ooh. I wonder how many different variations of these there are. 5 for the door with no handle. Fat finger. 5 for the door with no handle or key. 6 for the fish. 6 for the fish that climbed a tree. 7 for whispers. I put E. That was me being dumb. Let's see if the one mistake cost me my life. Ooh, okay, good. 7 for the... 7 for whispers under the bed. 8 for the book no one has read. Who'll be the last to take the step? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you need to take a break in order to enjoy things. 9 for the moon with a 9 for the moon with a jealous light. 10 for the candle. 10 for the candle that burns at night. 11 for... I was putting the instead. 11 for the bones that tap with glass. Okay. 11 for bones that tap the glass. 12 for the child who will not pass. Who will be the last to take the step? All right, it's me and this one other guy. All right, we got this. Let's hope they make mistakes. 13 steps and never a fall. 14 shadows along the wall. 15 coins in the... Oh, I put T instead of F. Well, if we live this, we might win. Ooh! 15 coins in the ferryman's cup. 16 dolls with their faces up. Who'll be the last to take the step? Okay. We lucked the fuck out, by the way. we survived a 50-50. 17 knocks, but nobody home. 18 paths to walk alone. Up a comma. 18 paths to walk alone. 19 teeth in the tiger's grin. Fat finger. 19 teeth in the tiger's grin. 20 secrets kept within. Who'll be the last to take the step? All right. Oh my god, we win! We win! Let's go! Let's go! We won! I only had to survive 3 shots in a row. Yeah, guys, I don't want to say easy, but that was so easy. We're number 1. Don't look at our ratio. Our rate is 18%. Yeah, totally. It's just dumb luck. You know what? One more to see us out. We don't gotta win. We don't gotta. This is just for fun. This is just to wrap it up, and I'm a liar to myself. I always do that to myself. I'm like, just one more. And then after I finish it, I'm like, because I lied to myself, I'm doing one more. And then that one usually ends it. I don't know why, but it satisfies that urge to keep going without actually keeping going. Well, you're just like, ooh, I'm so cheeky. I do one more even though I said otherwise. I don't know why. Oh, we're so screwed. Do you see what's happening? Cute. Oh. QWR, QWE. Oh god, ASD. Oh well. Okay. Watch it be first time. Let's see it. Come on, bring it. I know. I could feel it. I could feel. Oh, I did not. ASD, 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 ASF, AFD, ASD. ZXC, ZXC, ZXC. Jesus! They really didn't have to think at all about it, did they? Damn! Alright, well, yeah, I said it. I said it, and there we go. That's it. Alright. What horror demo are we thinking next, then? Because that was fun. That was a good time. Alright, let's see here. There was some that I know I wanted to play with somebody. Let's see here. Let's look at horror. Is there any way for me to look as far as like demo? List of demos. Outlast Trials. Ooh, Outlast Trials is 70% off right now? Ooh. Okay. We're adding that to the wishes. What do you mean? What's wrong with saying me being able to say horror correctly? I fail to. Stray is horror? I mean, I guess. You can't. How do you say it? Do you go her? Do you just like skip the second part? What's a good game to a demo? Do 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 do. Gotcha. I mean, it's fine, right? It's fine. I'm thinking, what was the game that I sent Ella that I was like, hey, this would be fun if we played this together. Let's see. Because then we can play together later. Let's see here. Oh, where? Oh, I bet you it's in it's in collab, isn't it? I bet you it's here. Or not? It wasn't? Okay. Well, don't mind me. Ooh, Shark Dentist. Is there a demo for Shark Dentist? That sounds funny. Shark Dentist. Oh, damn. No demo. Nothing yet. Project Winter. Bruh. Like what? I definitely sent one to Ella. Oh, here it is. Let's look at Storebound. Storebound. Yeah. Because it's a collab. So there are a couple of collab games that I want to play, but it's probably a good idea for us to check them out at first. So let us do Storebound demo. Can I just Google like horror game demos on Steam? Here we go. Lurks on the walls. Looks like there's a good amount actually. Interesting. I think there's a lot of like what do you call it? It's not I Spy, but I associate it to I Spy. I spy with my little eye. No. We're gonna do DirectX 11. We're not doing 12. That is a bad time. Alright, let's see here. Switch to gameplay. Hell yeah, Dragon. Well, thanks for stopping by. Good luck on your show. I'm sure it'll go great. Thank you for stopping by. We're just doing some horror game demos today, so we're good. Still doing the audio? Hell yeah. Ooh, okay. Join your team tutorial. Okay, let's should we do tutorial? Okay, what is this? Storebound? Storebound. Yeah. Alright. Tutorial. Present. Oh, okay, I'm liking the filter. Sprint to the other side of the room. Left shift to sprint. Alright, I'm sprinting. Oh, you time it. Because if they weren't sprinting, they wouldn't be able to make it in time. Okay, that's smart. I like that. Crouch at the tunnel. Oh, hold on. R to talk. Hello. Over. On, off. Is there battery? Is that why you would even turn it off? T to whiz? Interesting. Okay. We can go through the tunnel. Okay. F for flashlight. Uh-huh. Is this a meat room? Yeah, this is just a meat room. It's where you meet people. More you stay in the dark. Hello there. Aren't you the guys from Zelda? I think those are the guys from Zelda. Am I getting hurt? All I know is that I have meat on my 1, 2, and 3 slot. Do I not want to shine light on them? Draw me like one of your other meat girls. Okay, yeah. They don't like light. Hold on, let's see. Oh no, they just don't like to be looked at. Okay. Good to know. There's a lot of meat in this. Oh, this is a door? Sure. Whatever you say. Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Interesting. Find the key to open the door. Man, I got Lego hands, don't I? That's funny. All right, let's see. We got it over here. Oh, wow, super cool key. It's made of triangles, and it glitters like gold. All right. Oh, did I open the door with this? Okay. I could raise you. I could perform first aid. I don't know how and with what. Is that what I look like? Oh, he has narcolepsy. Okay, never mind. Foosball, let's go! Let's go! Throw a bottle at target. Interact to raise injured. Okay, Hey man, how you doing? You're not made of meat, surprisingly. All right, let's see here. We got a glass bottle, and then haha, and then you. Yoink. One for the road. Caw-caw! Alright. I just wanted to see who would react. I guess it is a real statue. Unless, haha! Cheetah, drop item. Oh, let's, there you go. Cabinet. R, push to talk. Hi. Is that what I look like? I don't know which one I look like. Cross without being heard by enemies. Okay. We'll get to stop communication from your friend. Oh, that's why you turn it off. Hey man, what's up? Also avoid talking or walking noise into your microphone. I'll think about it. I mean, I talked and walked. Did not, and was not an inconvenience in the slightest. Step into the present. You're alive for now. Okay, what else are we doing? Okay, tutorial done. Love to see it. Ooh. Hold on, before we continue. Okay, good. Enter present. Paleomancer's Dodo party. We're gonna put this to private because, yeah. Ooh, okay. So we got heal diffuser. Smells bad, heals everyone around. Cool. Okay. Oh, we can. Oh, right. Painful clarity. You see them for a moment. Oh, emits a tactical cloud for hasty retreat. A painful but welcome map for big enemies. I would say smoke grenade. Equip perks. Ooh. Okay. God mode out of stock. That's funny. So to help you better. So increase your maximum health. Increase your maximum sanity. Increase your maximum stamina. It adds an extra inventory slot. Honestly, let's do inventory slot. More stuff, because there's only one of us. Right? So, what do we got here? Learn to express your feelings. Here we go. At present, we love communication. Here, we offset a simple tool to help you better express your feelings. The wheel of externalization. Hold middle mouse button to develop your inner self. Abort, come, okay, point, shush, dance. Okay, cool. Honestly, good to know. Who? You! Thumbs up. There you go. We're all okay. Just normal, nothing else to see here. Got it. Is that just a big can of meatballs? Kinda based. Just saying.
Hi. Enjoy Presence Deals. The easiest and cheapest way to remodel your home and life right away.
Open 7 days a week and 24 hours a day, depending on opening hours.
So I... Uh-oh. What's happening? Okay. Is it Grommet? Like the one, the dog and the guy? I don't know if that's descriptive enough, but that's the one I thought of. Sid the Science Kid? I actually don't know that one. It's like it's just oh, my friend died. But also Grommet. Don't patronize me. I'm just kidding. All right, climb. I lived, and my friend. I didn't even mourn my friend. Bandages heals your wounds, not the memory of how you got them. Okay, cool. Interesting. So this person makes you hate this person? Can I pick this up? You love present. Do I love present? Okay, first open the office. Oh, I can't let go. There we go, I can't let go. Alright, we're gonna actually just turn that off. There's no reason to have the radio on because we're not with somebody. Push button. Okay, can I like open this? Oh, I can. Cooked. Be cooked. To be or not to be cooked. That is indeed the question. Safety bait. Ooh, there is a hide. That's good to know that there's a hide right there. Uh-huh. Okay. Can I... Oh, I can also hide in here? What is the point of this outside of this scenario? Why is there a safety bin in general? You know what I mean? Alright, I am confused. Can I not leave out there? I guess not. Can I leave over here? No. Is it like a thing in here? Tim, door, story room, and video projector. Oh, the iron curtain needs a lift. Got you. I knew that. That's more push away. Oh, well, no, that was just holographic door. Iron curtain needs a lift. Oh. When did I get this key? Oh. Surely there won't be something coming through that. Surely not. Surely there won't also be, like, I can't talk. Find the exit signs. Uh-huh. Oh, anything over there? No. Well, let's follow the exit signs. Not this way, idiot. Well, I'm gonna go this way anyway. Wow, it's real. I was really hoping I could phase through it, and they're like, you fool. You foolish fool. We got you. I should probably not use all my stamina from the looks of it. Anything in here? No? Okay, before we go that way then. Let's see, another hidey hole. Climb. Oh wait, damn it. We're back here. I was like, well. If it ain't the consequences of mine own actions. Alright, what else? Okay, so exits that way, but the living room. Yet I'm not seeing anything currently alive. Are those three-dimensional? Interesting. Let's go in here. Follow me. I'm not gonna. But what's this? Oh, no. Okay, well, glad I wasted that. The swallowed settled near the hidden restaurant in Boxit. I need supplies. I should join them. They say the restaurant smells like what you miss the most from outside. Probably another trap from the store, but I think it's worth the risk. I don't know what I do to smell. Just once the aroma of fresh coffee. Alright. Let's see. Boo, boo, boo. We're just gonna do that. Not this way. This way. Okay. Anything? No? Okay. Look at all these signs. Okay, what about up here? Bandages. I'll take it. Oh, no. That's funny. Like Looney Tunes ass thing. Let's see here. Oh. Hello? No, that was me. That was me stepping on that. Okay, that's the exit, so I want to go this way. Tranquilizers. A brief pause for madness. Fun. Well, I'm working on that. Oh. Wee. Wee. What happens if I take a tranquilizer while I'm in here? Nothing. Okay. I was just curious. Oh. Oh. If I'm in it, then I'm in it. You know, that makes sense. Okay. Everything's starting to turn into meat. That's pretty neat. Can I not go up that way? I can go up this way. Perfect. Hello, meat floor. How are you doing? Bandages. What's this? Shears, cuts plastic, not problems. Oop, you know what? We'll do it. Back shop? Sure. What's in the back shop? Tranquilizers. I guess we'll just use bandages right now. Pick this up. Anything over here? I hear something messing around. It doesn't work. Is that... Okay. Surely. We're gonna go up here. Haha, hee hee. Tricked you. Nope. I didn't trick him. Hold on, let me close my door. Ooh. Alright. Okay. Ugh, back. Is it dead? Is it living? Is it dead? Is it dead or alive? Dead or Alive 4? Electric Boogaloo? Okay, let's see. What are we doing? Utility box. Ooh, cut. Perfect. And then find something to cut the zip ties. Did that. Sweet. Turn off security to open the back shop door. You got it. Again, look at all this meat. Look at all this meat. I don't even see them. Man. I don't know if it sounds like it's something I don't want to be in. So we're just gonna move forward. Anything over yonder? Oh, did I go all the way around? Yeah, I did. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. Alright, let's see. That's a safe zone. That's back to the skylight or wherever. Let's go to this one. I don't know why there's just a giant... I don't even know what to call it. Something. This way? Okay. Are we here? Oh, you can see. Oh, okay. Oh, you went through the wall. Okay. Ow, ow, ow. We're fine. See, easy. That's actually called that's a speed strat. That's a speed running strat. We actually teleport here, saving like a few precious seconds. Yeah. That's living room. I think we just need to follow this. Oh no. My sanity, this is where I died. Alright, well, how about if I hit a trank? Because that's how that works, right? Nope. Okay, so it's this way? I'm not really understanding what I'm looking at here. But at least looks like we need to go that way and then to the left of something. Hey man, how are you doing? Ow! Hey, do you mind? Sir? Damn. Man, I just hate going to the city, don't y'all? It's like, what? Okay. That's present. Maybe we go over yonder? Oh, well that's unfortunate. Oh, well, it knew where I was. I guess it smelled me? Question mark? Oh, do I only have 3 lives? Thanks for playing the demo. Okay. I want to do it again. Okay. Deaths times 3. Oh, we beat it? Oh. That's... You beat it by dying? It's just that simple, chat. I knew it. The way to speed run this is very straightforward. You just die quickly. Okay. Let's see if we can get a little further. Oh right, we had a smoke grenade. I forgot. I also like deep pockets again. Hee 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 hee. Ho 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 ho. Alright. We go back in. I'm thinking like a different game every hour is kind of what I'm aiming.
Remodel your home and life right away.
Open 7 days a week and 24 hours a day, depending on opening hours.
Alright, oh, hold the skip. We skipping. Oh no, my friend is dead, but I have nothing to say about that. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, we pretty much checked everything in here. I can't help it. I really can't. And then we just go in here. This definitely has like potential though. I am liking this a lot. There's definitely a aspect of like it's very much meant for collaboration, and I'm playing solo, so that's something to keep in mind. And then we do a little turnkey. Go over yonder, go over here. We look at the exit signs, we're like, yes. Fascinating. And we can smoke screen at least once, I imagine. Hold on, let's see if there is a magic spawn here. Nope, okay. See, this is different. Or at least I think it is. Oh, son of a... This is where it was? Hey, man. How you doing? Can I, like, close that door? No? Hey. Anyway, so it seems TVs are the problem. What else is new, am I right? Anyway. Let's go ahead and hop this. Oh, glass bottle. Perfect. Oh, hold on. The error something error, it's just errors. Just a lot of error, computer errors. What else is new? Perfect. I mean, this is where we were before. Oh. Okay, not that one. Look at that. It's not exactly... I mean, we need the fuse. We had the fuse and we couldn't find where to go. Tranks? Well, I'll just take this. Yoink. What's a casual trank among friends? Am I right? Ha ha ha. Marble. Hey, how you doing, girl? How you doing? Hey, good girl. Good girl. Remind me, y'all. I need to send you a picture of Marble. I actually took a pretty good one yesterday. Okie dokie. Alright, let's go this way. Deactivate the security stuff. Didn't we... Isn't that this? Yeah. Wasn't it that? And then... Oh, I get it. I get it. So we need to follow the lines. We need to go up. And we also need to go this way. I see. Context clues has got it going on. It's all I want. And I waited for so long. Stacy, don't you see? You're the clue just for me. I know it might be wrong. I'm in love with Stacy's mom. Batteries. E to recharge your flashlight. Glass bottle. Honestly, I just need all these. Oh. Just looking at the meat walls, as you would, where you stay in the dark. Well, I'm working on it. Okay. Ooh, perfect. I don't know where my mental health is being displayed on this thing, but we're working towards it. Alright, bandages. Okay. Alright, we need to go over there. Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay. Box it. Let's check it. Let's check this place out. Ooh, yeah. Let's I guess I'll just use drinks. Alright, what do we got? This agreement is made on the 18th of July, 1985. Parties involved present, referred to as... We're good. Anyway, let's finish reading. Parties involved present hereinafter refer to the employer, and Tim herein for the employee. The employment of the employee shall commence from the date hereof and continue. Compensation and benefits. The employee agrees to the employed for his sole pleasure and self-satisfaction. The employee will work and present and ensure each and every shopper buys articles before leaving. The employee agrees to work every hour of every day of every week of every month of every year. That's wild. That's not... That breaks every law. Surely you'll just keep going. Am I right? Okay. Can I drop this? There we go. Oop. Kind of like a weird fear of falling thing happening. Alright. Let's see. And then there was another... Oh, wait. Ow! Yay! Do you mind? There was another one up here, wasn't there? I remember there being another one up here. As far as stuff to do. Not stuff to do, but... Oh, perfect. Drinks. There was another line... Here's a line. Maybe I was up there? Let's check out this way. Oh, that's just lipped. Oh, perfect. Let's check out this note. The backshop reported your latest attempt to cut the ties to secure the store's power boxes. Theft from the workplace is punishable by the store. The equipment will be returned to Creeping Roots. You will not tolerate another incident. Sincerely, management. Cool. Neat. Oh, perfect. I think this is something I need. Where is this guy? There he is. I was looking for him. I was like, where is this going? Okay. Safety bay. Alright. So this is the part where I lose it, right? I follow the exit signs. It leaves me here. We do have smokescreen ready. Okay. Okay, I think we need a trank. There's a lot of meat on the ground. I don't think that did anything. Anyway, so I started blasting. Okay, we're back here. Cool. Lovely. Yet when I follow this like I did last time, again, it's like it's rearranged? Am I crazy? I might be a little crazy. Just a little. Just a teeny bit crazy. But what's a little bit of insanity among friends, am I right? Here we go. Oops. And I think, if I remember correctly, we want to go up here. Okay. Got clippers. And then we got back here. That's the back shop. Perfect. Get inside. Okay. We in. Oh! Look at all this stuff! Alright, let's see here. It has to be a door. Need to make a door. Which one? Find the control room, find the control room, find the control room. Uh-huh. Alright, energy bar. Topped off for a moment with the expired snack. Ooh, batteries. We eat this. I don't know why or how that recharges it, but we did. What about this? Oh, hold on. I need to close the door again because of marble. Ooh. This time, I did it all the way. So now there will only be scratching at the door instead of full on doing it. Alright, let's see here. Tim, thank you for welcoming me. My search isn't over. I'm sorry I have to go. I hope you like your portrait. I hope you find an exit. And if ever needed, I hope you find support amongst the swallowed. Stay clear of the darkness. Yeah, no, yeah, sure. We already have a glass bottle. We have an energy bar now. I'm actually going to hold off equipping anything else. Ooh, bandages? Nah, we don't need bandages. Alright. A lot of energy bars. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Alright, what do we got? What's a shape that's big, red, and pointy? Look at it closely, sure it can help you. Uh-huh. Uh-oh. We're just gonna do this. We're just gonna hang out for a second, because apparently Siren Head's cousin, Camera Flash Man, didn't like me doing that. I hear him still stumbling around. That's a lot of meat on the ground. Hee 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 ho ho ho. Can't touch this. Hee hee. To the control room. We're a little cray-cray. Just a touch cray-cray. Is there any, like, anti-crazy stuff in here? Oh, but we're in a safe room, so we're, like, back to normal. Got you. Okay. What? It saw me? From where? I can't see. Is that meant to be the case? Uh-oh. Hi. Ow. 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 Okay. Oh, we're here now. Okay. So to the control room. Okay. Where's that? Because we went here. And then we were like, oh, we're going to go in there. Go around. Oh, we have a fuse now. Hold on. Let's look real quick. What if I did this? Oh. Can I, like, take this back out? No. Okay. Excellent. So we can get our sanity back by turning... I imagine they could turn it back off again. I'm assuming. Okie dokie. Let's go up here. Oh, well, I mean, it was right there, wasn't it? Okay, let's see. Doors in plastic. It's fantastic. Alright, Barbie. Kitchen. I'm assuming... Is this a shortcut? Okay. It looks like... Hold on. Control room. I don't see a control room anywhere on there. Safety cabinets. Oh, it also turns that off. Okay, the breaker is really strong. Good to know. What's kind of the point up here? Ooh, giant circle. Batteries. I'll just swipe the batteries for now. Anything over yonder? Ooh, more bottles. Just a bunch of trash. Lovely, lovely. Love what you've done with the place. Obviously, the cleaning lady hasn't come in yet. Yeah, that's the way. Not out, but... Yeah, okay. So I think up is the way to go. If I had to guess, the breaker gives us, like, a certain level of freedom. Like, maybe a minute, maybe 2. Maybe 5. Okay. Well, obviously it let us out here for a reason. Which makes me think... I don't know what the control room is. I see living room. Ooh. Gotta ride that? Oh. Settle into kitchen, bathroom. Oh, is the control room where we were? I wonder. We already interacted with that. I believe our thing was... Oh. Oh. Trap? Oh. Ew. Gross. Ew. Gross. Stop. Okay. Let's see. Oh, oh. It became meat. That also became meat. Interesting. Okay, so that's... How do I get back? Did I do a whole loop? Seriously, though. This is the living room area. I remember opening that. Oh, here it is. It should be over here. Is this the control room? I feel like it would be, right? Is it not? Do not let them leave. Use diverse persuasive methods. Use calling to backup. If necessary, don't hesitate to insist on introducing your manager. Avoid resorting physical force. Every month you will receive a bonus for each customer convinced. Interesting. Okay, so this is not the control room. Then where the hell is the control room? I don't know. Is it not this? Because I see this and I'm like, oh, control room, perfect. But I don't see signs that label it. We have smoke grenade ready to go, so I'm not too worried. Let's go over here. Not that way. Nope. Maybe kitchen? Or maybe we just... Hey, how you doing? Haha, you can't find me. Hee 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 hee. He found me. Tee hee hee hee. Alright, so that's second death. I still don't know where the control room is. Is this a control room? No. I mean, are there computers? Let's see here. Can I, like, do this? You. Alright. There's the backup thing. Okay, let's just keep, let's retrace our steps a little bit, yeah? We went over here. Let's go ahead and just eat this. Eat our batteries. I will say, them being one-hit kills kind of makes healing not really a factor. The little guys do damage to you, but like, I get hit 3 times, right? Okay. Let's see here. We already picked up that note. We already looked in here. It's weird. Don't get me wrong, it's weird. But not really control room. This does kind of look control roomy. Oh, found it. Oh. That'll do it. Haha, you can't get me. You fool. You suck. Alright, let's go ahead and just eat that so we can make some room. Metal doors? Nah, too heavy. Well, sure. How about this? Glass doors? Shatter the thought. That's, Oh, okay, so we make a door? Circles are notorious. Idlers, no one wants that. Only one shape is important. I'm going to assume triangles. Booked, cuts. Interesting. So this is the door making room. Good to know. So we are going to push this button. Nope. Nope. Yep. This way. Cuts. Look for hints and create a door that the shop accepts. This way. Be cooked. What did it say again? Circles and notorious islands, no way. There's only one shape that's important. Right. That's triangles. I can't pick up that anymore. Good thing I don't need it. Metal doors, not too heavy. So not glass, not metal. Let's just have a normal ass door. Welcome. Exit. I'm gonna say exit door. Triangle. This way. Reach the door in this way shop. Oh, I chose where it was going to go. Oh. Did I die there? Unfortunate. I was gonna try to hit the... I guess that's it. That was 3 deaths, right? Well, shit. And, well, you know what? We'll finish it. We'll play with Ella and finish it at another time. How many bucks did I get this time? I spotted my employee 14 times disappointing. Watch a broken glass 10 times. Still 300 points. I still don't know what I can buy with those. But here we are. All right, we're going to go to another ad break, and then we're going to move on to the next demo. Actually, 1 second. I will actually run to a bathroom break real quick. Be right back. No! I did unmute. Did it re-mute? Oh, gosh. I was talking that whole damn time. Professional streamer, by the way. Okay. I'm upset, but we're here. Anyway, I made a couple of jokes. It wasn't funny. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Anyway, so this guy is definitely the guy who would be like, sir, would you like a receipt with that of all our costumes? Definitely. And we have all our ECRBs because it feels like that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to host lobby. Settings. Friend with the best internet connection should host. Okay, cool. So, ready. And start game. America, 1993. I'm not going to say that's the year I was born, but at the same time, it's damn close. How to play. Hi, I'm Greg. Throughout the night, you will get customers. You will figure out whether or not they are doppelgangers. To detect doppelgangers, use the computer. The database is always correct. Verified information. Question customers to determine if they are doppelgangers. No, you see my arm actually grew back 2 days ago. No, you see my arm actually... Discuss with your friends and decide if you think the customer is a doppelganger. If you suspect the worst, locate the gun beneath the counter and shoot. We need a gun warning. We do need a gun warning. If you are notified that a doppelganger left the store, you better board up, lay traps, and hide. Interesting. Okay. Fun. We can buy cola at the machine. Head to the break room. Apparently... Oh. Silly me. Did I leave this last night? That's so silly. Can I, like... Oh. There we go. Hold on. I want to keep on... Okay, it doesn't disappear. I was hoping it was. Did I have to do that 3 times to check? Yeah. Yeah, I did. Click the notice board for instructions. Get a drink at the vending machine. Use trash. That's funny. That's a to-do list. To-do list. Go and drink something from the vending machine. The first task. Use trash bags to throw out the limbs in the storage room. I love that that's where we put them. Mop the blood. Restock the incomplete shelf with boxes. Really, the scariest thing on that list is the restock. Doppelgangers continue to ravage America throughout the night. Doppelganger sightings increase. Expert advice checking ID and personal details when interacting with strangers. Today's quota, $50. Sweet. Alright, so first things first. You have, for Cobra Cola, hell yeah, throw to lure enemies into traps. Cool. Can I, like... Perfect. Now I can pick that up when it's ready. Perfect. Yeah. Honestly, I've started doing that as well. Cute boy. I don't know if it works, but it's something. All right. Put that here. Oh, let's take the... Okay, we need to take it out to the dumpster. Anybody out there? Out there? Out there? Out there? Okay. Praise the entity. We got paid for throwing away the trash. Must be nice. All right. Yoink, 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 yoink. Honestly, I thought it would take more than that. I really did. All right, restock the shelves. Restock the shelves. Oh, I was wondering. I was like, why is it all yellow? Okay, and then we do that. Oh, it's just a drag and drop. Drag and drop. Drag and drop. Drag and drop. This is actually pretty satisfying. They did a good job with this. And now that. Yep. Box empty. Let's go. Oh, it needs a little more. Just a little bit. Just a touch. Just a. Yoink. Oh. There you go. I keep on hitting left click instead of, you know, E. There we are. There we are. There we are. Read the instruction on the checkout counter. You got it. Eh. There is no time limit to customer interrogation. That's just a flat-out lie. Scan their ID to open the real person's profile on the computer. Question them about the details. The computer's database always holds verified info. Trust it. If you spot any inconsistencies, locate the gun under the counter. Sheriff. How are you doing today, sir? Got your message, my guy. Will do. Well, now you must be the new night clerk. Welcome to the graveyard shift, my friend. It's probably a little daunting, huh? No worries. Let me give you a rundown of how it's done. First, scan my ID card on the counter. Do it. Okay. Boop. All right. Now, occupation sheriff, often in uniform, wears glasses. So I guess... Oh. My occupation? Sheriff is the best town in the West. Okay. Now, ask me anything, my friend. Head. Yes, I'm bald. Why'd you have to point it out? My head? I haven't lost it again, have I? Ha 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 ha. Okay. Okay, just bag the... Okay, we'll just bag him. Alright, you're good. Off you go now, sir. Gun unlocked. Thanks, I think. Hello, customer. My mind was just like, ma'am, sir, what if they go by they, them? So I was like, hey there, long night at the hospital. Just need to grab a few things and head home. Okay, Bonnie McCree. Alive, good to know. Occupation nurse, bald, often wears glasses. Oh yeah, I took my glasses off before heading here. Honestly? Everything seemed fine. I'm not seeing anything weird with your clothes. I think you're good to go. I don't think I need to, like, do anything else for this. Everything seems else in the up and up, so I think you're good. Have a good one. You have let one of them go. Alright, what do you want over there, sir? Oh, that's me. Hello! I need to restock those, actually. Hey. Hey, man, just grabbing some stuff real quick. No big deal. Uh-huh. Alright, Nathan Calloway with your fake ID. Alright, cool. He's dead. Hey, Huh? Huh, this. Anyway. One second, customer. We need to take it out in the dumpster. That's the part that drives me crazy. You have to do dumpster. What are you doing over there? Huh? Huh? You wanna... You stay right there. 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right there with you, sir. These damn doppelgangers. Every time. Every time, man. 1 second. Hey there, cutie. All right. 1 second. I need to, actually, I know exactly what I need to do. Put it over here. I need to clean up the blood. All right. Excuse me, pardon me. I apologize for the mess. I just, you know, I just love my ketchup so much. You know what I mean? It's the #1 place to get ketchup. Tell you that much. I can give you any recommendations you want. The updates to the store clip blows my brains out. Well, first of all, you had a fake ID that said you were dead. There is no mistaking that. All right, let's do this real quick. And give me a little bit little cheeky restock. There we are, and then Boom. Oop, nope. Boom. Boom. Box empty. Okay. Oop, I'll take that. Okie dokie. Now, I'll be glad to help you. Alright. Interesting. It says that you're a plumber. Yeah, I've just been a flight attendant for 3 years. A steady job keeps me busy. That old photo? Ugh, I changed so much since then. Well, everything else seems to be on the up and up. I think it was just an old photo. I think she's good. Alright. Have a good one. Anything else? Can I order more stuff? Doesn't look it. Delivery arrived. Ooh, perfect. I was just thinking that. Hey man, you don't happen to be a doppelganger, do you? Are you? The truck becomes a doppelganger. Thanks. Bye. I guess. Oh, answer the phone. Hey man, I just got down the road from your store. My car won't start. I really need a hand getting it running again. Can you come out and help me? Sure. Go down the road and help him. Oh, I'm gonna help him, alright. I'm gonna help him. Yeah, I'm coming. I'll be right over. I'll be right over. Yeah, I'm on my way. Uh-huh. Right over. Gun jammed. Where is it? Oh, is that guy still there? Hold on. It's gone. Okay, we can't go around that way. Hey man, how you doing? I know you just spawned in. Be right back. I'll be with you in a second, sir. I just need to check. There was a guy looking at me earlier. You still over there? Get. Okay. All right. Good evening. Just grabbing a few things before heading back to the road. Hell yeah. All right. All right, Kevin Larson. You're alive. Insurance sales, often formal wear, tall. You are very tall. Honestly, your limbs seem fine. Let's check your movement. I wasn't checking you. I'm a little tired. That's all long day in the office. I think you're good. Off you go. You have a good one. Let's see, anything else over here. Huh? Uh-oh. Wait, which one? Oh. Which one? Which one? I don't know which one. Was it the flight attendant? Because of the old photo? I killed the other guy. Okay. Alright. Okay. Woo. Okay. Do we have any other things? I think that's it. Alright, got that. We're good to go. You know what? We'll also do this one. Okay. I feel like if I talk, it's going to be alerted. Or maybe if I dock. Ooh. Oh. I also think I needed to have fought it. I thought it was going to be trapped more often. For longer, at least. Alright. Alright, okay. Again. Again! Alright. Alright, let's get this. Ugh. Alright. So what we want... There we go. There we go. And then essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke my head out here, fire it, and then I'm going to kind of like maybe get around it. I shouldn't have boarded up that one. That's fine. I'm going to try to loop it either this way, depending which direction it goes. And then I hide when I'm trying to, like, shoot it and then get out of the way. Like, when it's following me. Alright. Okay. Whew, we got this. Man, minimum wage, am I right? Oh, where'd it go? Okay, we're good. Woo! Not even worried. Each failed assault strengthens them. Next time surviving won't be so easy. Yeah, totally. Yep. Anyway, shift is done. Let's clean up any messes. Yeah, there's no messes. Certainly no. There we go. This again is just make sound. I guess what I could do is fire a bunch over to like a new location, because it seems like they're blind for the most part. I guess we just head to the bus. We just leave our bear traps out. Yoink. We'll just, can I just like, ooh, yep, let's just drop these. So that there's, you know. Oh, let's do this first, before we start the day. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-boo. Nothing like fighting that thing and I'm just like, you're good to go. Something tells me I didn't make a mistake, and it was the trying to help a guy. It was like, oh, he's gone, and then it's like later on in the night, because it would make sense that the first night would. I'm just not convinced that the girl with the wrong shirt was a doppelganger. That is like, really? That was it? It definitely wasn't the tall guy. Everything looked up and up. But maybe it was her. And like, I need to trust that the photo, you know what? It probably was. I bet you the photo was up to date, and I needed to have trusted the computer over what she said, which was that it was an old photo. It wasn't an old photo. It was a current photo. But it didn't make any, the photo didn't make any sense, because she's a flight attendant. Oh, I wonder. Yeah, it's like everything else seemed up on the up and up on the flight attendant aspect, but then the picture was weird. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say, like, what am I missing? What am I missing here? It's hard restocking, you know? Alright, get all this ready to go. And ready for tomorrow's big shift. Boom. Oh, where is it? There it is. Another empty box. I like that box. What was in it changed depending which aisle I was in. That was nice. Okay, that one's just nothing. All right, off to do the. Time to go to the bus. Hee hee hee. Let's see. We made enough revenue. More than enough revenue. Quota reach. Who was... yeah, killed. Doppelganger. This was a the real one is a plumber, but this one was wearing a flight attendant uniform. But when I scanned the thing, this thing said that she was a flight attendant. The computer said she was a flight attendant. I'm confused. I'm a little confused. It said plumber. Oh, am I crazy? Oh, I might be crazy then. I saw a flight attendant. No joke. I am not kidding you. All right, cool. My brain. Love it. Love it. Streamer brain? Must be. There we go. Throw that in. Ooh, what's this? Shop. Ooh. Yeah, let's do poster, product. Let's do two product box. Weapon arsenal, bear trap, explosive. That's kind of cool. Yeah, let's do an explosive. You know, just a casual explosive. There we go. It's a new night. Check the notice board. All right, let's check the notice board. All right, what do we got? Joe's Diner burnt down. Locals are shaken. The once beloved Joe's Diner has been burnt down in what appears to be an act of arson yesterday night. Okie dokie. Alrighty. All right, what do we got? Okay, we have stumbling. We have Mr. I can't seem to be... I'm definitely not sober. Fuck you on. Alright. Roger Connery. Alright, what do you got? Retired, mustache, generally dirty attire. Okay. I'm not noticing a mustache on you, my guy. No, wait, hold on. There is a mustache. Okay, there is a mustache on him. Movements. Ain't nothing wrong with walking. You got a problem, huh? Well, I guess I don't. You are retired. Retired and living the dream. Uh-huh. Well, everything seems on the up and up. That says retired, mustache, generally dirty attire. Let's just ask about that. Don't like the shirt? You don't know, bro. Okay, well. Get out. You better not have drove here. You better not have drove here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up. Alright, let's go to the loading bay. Look at all these coins. Ooh, ooh, give me that. And I guess this is the autonomous truck driver ones. Oh yeah, this is the poster. Let's do it like here. Do it, Dodo, it for her. I was trying to think of like do it for her, but for Dodo. do it for Dodo. Just grabbing some supplies for my 30th birthday. Big one, you know? Okay. Oh, oh. Huh. Okay. Unemployed, identical tattoos on both arms. Okay. This... we don't have that here. How did you... We don't supply that. Oh, wait, we do supply that. I'm stupid. Alright, well... movements? I walk in, I walk out, that's what... Oh, hold on. It's just their birthday, right? Date of birth is 9/27/1974. What is today's date? Is there a thing? Today, 1993. That's helpful. I'm technically unemployed, I guess. Where do I see today's date? Or can I see today's date? Let's look at this. Joe's Diner Burn Down. Right. Uh-huh. But I'm not seeing a date. You don't think that... Oh, you're right. 30th birthday. Yeah. Hey, Melon, how are you doing? Yeah, 30th. 30th birthday would be 2004. September 27th, 1964. Wait. No, yeah. Definitely 1964. Well, for the cost of you getting your birthday wrong, just think of the rabbits. Just think of the rabbits. Just think of the rabbits. Oh. All right, let's pick up this doppelganger. Got the birthday wrong. Tisk tisk. Tisk tisk. All right, is that guy still over there? He is. Hold on. I told you to get. I told you to get with your skinless cell. Where? Oh, I need a. Let's grab. Well, this is. You need to determine what is a doppelganger and what is not, and if they are untruthful. Hello, dear. I'm just picking a few things for my husband, Harold. Oh, man, this woman's really going through it. Hopefully, she's real. All right. Got that. Can I, like, take gun? Oh, I can right now. Okay, perfect. Hey, I told you to get it. I see you. Get out of here. Doppelgangers, man. They're like cockroaches. All right. Let's get this back over there. Okay, be with you 1 second, ma'am. 1 second. All right. Let's see here. All right. All right, Judith Calhoun. All right. Judith Calhoun is alive, English teacher. Always spends exactly $13. Lonely widow. Ma'am? For your husband, Harold, huh? Uh-huh. 3. Hold on. Let's see here. Is that 13? That's 13. Widow? No. Harold's just at home watching TV, probably. I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't think that's your husband. Well, I was about to say something real dark. Think of the rabbits. Okay. All right. There it is again. I told you to get that guy. Ooh. Sorry, sir. Sorry for the mess. There was just a, Make it quick. I've got net business to deal with. Uh-huh. And what exactly is, net for you? Is it to catch... Is it to catch, doppelgangers? Because, I don't know what to tell you besides, you missed some. Kind of cleaning up your mess a bit, sir. Oh, wait. Wasn't there a thing? Oh, right. Get over here! When I tell you to get over! Go! Get out of here! Like, my God! Alright. Okay, right with you, sir. Alright, let's see. Ryan Holt, huh? Alive Occupation Non-Human Eradication Task Force, or NET. Okay. We're the reason your doppelgangers haven't ripped you apart yet. You should be grateful. Again, I think you missed some. Just saying. Alright, what do you got? $6? Alright. I wonder if I can sell and... Uh-oh. Is it the guy that I told them to get multiple times? Hold on. What was that sound? Is that you? Is that... Oh. I told you to get... Okay. Uh-huh. Oh. Hi. Can I, help you? I like how that's pointing to him, like he's the Dodo. Hi. Can I talk to you? Well... Someone got into the Laffy Taffy machine, am I right? Like, damn. Into the Taffy Puller. You and me both thought the same thing. Hey, time from a long shift from the local diner, probably. Probably? Local diner, huh? You mean the one that burned down? That local diner? The one that burned down today, so there's no diner? That one? Get my Glock. Oh, this is a thankless job. Someone's got to do it. Looks like I missed some parts here. Excuse me, pardon me. Excuse me, sir. Better not be the diner that I'm thinking of, sir. I'm about to make another mess. Just saying. Okay, good, he's not here. Maybe he was the one who was elongated Timmy. All right. Grab that. Do it in like 1 second. I'm just gonna clean up this mess. Can I like move it like up here or something? Hold on, let's see. Can I like move you? No. I think I could probably drop it, can't I? All right, I could probably just do like that. And it's probably fine, right? Okay. Okay. All right, Brandon Keller. Waiter. I wait tables at Joe's Diner. Just clocked in a couple hours ago, probably. This better not be Joe's Diner. Okay. Yeah, well, you know what? Let's just. Joe's Diner, huh? Well, yeah, no. I actually have like a pamphlet, a coupon. Can you see if this is a little bit? Ah! I like he said I could stop saying probably now. Hi, miss. 1 second. 1 second, miss. I'm just taking care of some business. Hello, I'm Jade. Oh, God. I told you to get. You know what? I'll be with you in a second. Yes. You. All right. There we are. Look at all that. I don't think this runs out, so I'm just gonna put it to the side. All right. Everything looks good. Okay. Now I'm gonna handle the guy outside, but first things first, I think you and I need to have a talk. Because you seem like a nice person, and then I look at this, and I can't help to notice there is a bit of a difference here. Did something happen at the tanning salon, or you wanna it's like a different hair color like, you wanna talk about this? You needn't be suspicious. I merely underwent human puberty since that camera captured me. Human puberty. Everyone knows human puberty happens when you're 30. Oh, I forgot to grab it. I'll be back for you. 1 second. You stay. You know what? You better not be here when I get back. Saying that right now. Well, shit. I don't want to be over there now. Did you see that? Like, he has a gun. Like, can I just... Like, can I just not deal with him? Like, I'm in the middle of something. Like, look, I've had a rough day. Do you like your life? Well, that's a pretty loaded question. Like, I mean, I like all the parts of it. Fill the bag with money if you want to live and see your family again. If we put the money in the bag, we fail our thing. Assuming there's no one else. Assuming there's no one else. Sir, do you know what happens if I don't meet quota? Let me show you. Anyway. To be fair, in his defense, he did scream, "It's a fake gun, I'm sorry." I keep forgetting that you here. I'll be back for you. So in his defense, I probably should have stopped firing. But I didn't read that until I had finished firing. In my defense, I didn't see that. Look at all this blood, do 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 do, cleaning this up, do 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 do, pretending it's ketchup, do 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 do, so I can stay sane, do 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 do. But it's blood, do 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 do, sure not ketchup, do 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 do. I didn't try it, do 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 do, cause it's probably a problem. Let's see here. So it's probably going to say, hey, you killed a human. And I'm going to say, he pointed a gun at me. And he's like, are you sure that it was a gun? And my response is, at the first bullet I was. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you. I will go after that guy outside because he's being really weird about it. All right, okay, come here. Come here. Get over here. Get over here. I told you to get, and you get. If I catch you again, we're going to have problems. Sounds like someone wants to sell me something. Just a guy wants to sell chocolates. All right. Well, I know I don't need to worry about doppelgangers coming in. Because, yeah, I think everyone died today. You know, really makes you think. Did you really have that rough of a day? Did you have to kill every person who walked in? If the answer is no, you know what? Comparatively, it's not that bad. All right. We need like 3 more boxes. So let's put store supplies 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. I guess not. All right. No other things need to be cleaned. We do need to restock, but we'll get like 4 boxes or something at the end. You're done and dealt with. Good to know. We just head to the bus. All right. We don't even lock the doors, which is kind of wild. We just kind of leave it the way it is and just catch the bus. The bus is going to leave without us, probably. All right. How many mistakes did I make? The last one was definitely human. Okay. We made the revenue. Quota reach. Human, he was drunk. Doppelganger. Real one was 20 years old. Claimed to be a 30th birthday. Doppelganger. Real one is a widow. This one mentioned her husband at home. Human. Brandon Keller. Doppelganger. Claimed that shift from the diner. Sinclair. Doppelganger. Okay. It didn't count the robber. So I'm in the clear. Your Honor. All right. First things first. I'm the realist. Second things second. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to restock this. Traps we're still good on. Yeah, we'll do 5 of those. Let's check what's going on back here. What's the update today? You know what? First, what's this? New detection hardware. This is the Emotoscope. It reads customer emotions and allows you to question them on their emotion. That's wild. It's 100% accurate, but take note, some duplicators are able to replicate human emotions. Some can't. Got you. So it's a way to determine a false positive, but not a false negative, if I'm understanding that correct. Why is there so many posters? Poster number 1. He was number 1. There you go. Perfect. Okay. I'll be with you 1 second, sir. I'm just gonna check the back real quick. No particular reason. Anyway. I noticed your now hiring sign. Is that still valid? Not for me, but a lazy nephew Tommy could use it. You don't say. All right. Well, first things first, I need to check this out. All right. Come here. Boop, 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 boop. I guess I don't need to do the blood right now, but... Oh. Oh. Now I feel really bad. He was just a fan. Look. He made us a heart. Made out of gold. Aw. That's... Sucker! I'm evil idealist. No, that makes me feel bad. He was probably just a dude. He wasn't even doing anything, actually. Oh, no. I feel bad now. Hold on. Is our broom still here? No, but these still are. Boop, boop. All right. Come here. I feel bad that this guy just made a heart and I shot him in the face and he died because he was outside. But it could have been a ruse to get my guard down because I'm naive like that, which is true, honestly. All right, Ramona Delgado. All right, you are alive and you're Ramona's Beauty Nails owner. 11 years making people look their best. Let us do a motoscope. Let me scan your brain real quick. Ma'am, I'm going to give you one chance to explain to me why you are currently craving human flesh. Now, is that strictly a doppelganger trait? No. But your other options aren't much better. I can't think of too many situations where a human craving human flesh in which I wouldn't want to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? So I'm going to need you to explain yourself just a little bit. Craving? That's an ugly way to put it. I'd say appreciate the texture. That's exactly where it needs to go. I am one who enjoys texture, but not human texture. So, off you go. Watch them be human. It's like what? Like on one hand, it's it's worst case scenario, best case scenario, they were a doppelganger. Worst case scenario, they're a cannibal. Like, I feel like that still means to pull the trigger. It's like, sure, they're human, but like, they're going to eat people. All right. Let's get a restock. We are gonna restock. Have this guy be rude and put it all on my lap. Good thing this bomb here isn't sensitive. That'd be a problem. Restock. We have to restock. What will you do when you are low on funds? You gotta restock. Restock. It almost sounds like we snaw, in like a weird way. Okay, anything else? Looks like there's a couple other ones, but we can do that. Oh, hello, dear. Just picking a few things for myself tonight. Oh, okay. We got normal one. All right. All right, you and me. What do we got? Morning. All right, ask why. Actually, we'll ask why. Yeah. Yes, today makes a year since my husband passed. I still miss him every day. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, ma'am. All right, Judith. English teacher, always spin 13, lowly window. Okay. I don't think I need to look for anything else. I think you're good to go. I wish you only the best, ma'am. Feel for her. All right. Hey, man, how you doing? Be with you 1 second. Oh, that the shelf's already full. Oh, I was gonna say, like, I see the exclamation mark. You liar. I meant just picking up for my sister Catherine. Yeah, but uh-huh. Anyway. Interesting. Uh-huh. Well. Boo, boo, boo. All right. Anything else? Nope. I wish I could put these down and then take them all out at the end of the day. That's what I would like. All right. Okay. Now, yeah, keeping this here is the move, by the way. 100%. Okay. Boop. I wonder if I could just wait to the end of the day to do that. And it doesn't matter. All right, what's up, man? All right, Tommy Delgado. How are you feeling? Relaxed? Don't know what to tell you, man. Got nothing on my mind. Fair enough. Well, that works too. Alright. Alright, tell me the guy unemployed. Kind of between jobs right now. I mean, everything seems... That's me, but from a while ago. You know, from the photos, right? I did this last time. Oh, wait, no. Last time she said plumber. Right? It said plumber on the thing, but I was the crazy one in this case. I'm gonna risk it one more time. Someone not wearing a shirt, I don't think is a reason enough to think that they're a doppelganger. Close. Yeah, I know, I just really hot. Let me grab something, Catherine, quickly so I can head home. Catherine. Oh, God. Delgado. Am I spelling this wrong? D-E-L-G-A, so Tommy. Delgado. Delgado. Any other name? It was like, what did they say? Catherine? I'm just picking something for my sister, Catherine. C-A-T-H-E-R-I-N. That's what it was. That's what it was. I was like, there's something here. There's something here. Catherine DeGaldo, huh? Something for Catherine? Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, no. Let me just actually, y'all you're all set pretty much. Let me just, hey, I have a flyer just for you. Maybe you can give this to Catherine. Pachow! Hey man, how you, oh. Hey, you just missed yourself. That would have been an interesting conversation, yeah? Be right back, sir. Alright. Oh, let's close the door behind us, because maybe that doppelganger of me was because of that. Gotta be careful, man. They're everywhere. Ever feel like someone's watching you? Because they are. Well, I mean, they did make a copy of you, so, I mean, you are also standing in a pool of blood. So, I don't know if you clocked that or not, but, yeah, you are. Also, this mop is amazing. Doesn't smear or anything. All right. Sir, first, let's check out your mental state. Hold on, just 1 second. Hold on, 1 second, sir. Like, I'm like breathing in the back of his neck. 1 second, sir. Uh-huh. Anxious and mournful. Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on. Ask why. Yeah, no shit. People have got, people above got my sister. I'm not letting them get to me, too. Oh, I was gonna say, what? There we go. Well, all right. Let's see here. Unemployed. Jobs keep you blind from the truth, man. Yeah, you're nutso changeo, but at the same time, you kind of on the up and up. I think you're good. You're weird, but have a good one. Doppelganger. All right, let's see here. Gotta restock the. Uh-huh. Maybe he's just listening to some, like, his favorite Spotify playlist. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you're kind of rocking it. Buenas noches, amigo. Don't mind me. These feet won't stop moving, baby. Uh-huh. Yeah, one second. Your movements. No music needed. The rhythm is in my head, amigo. All right, Esteban. I'm sorry. His signature. All right, Ratty. Thank you for stopping by. It was wonderful having you. Oh, gosh. I hope you have fun with your friend. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. Sorry. That signature killed me. Your signature just being a photo, like you drawing your face in a picture, like an arrow pointing me, is so good. I love this guy. Please don't tell me you're a doppelganger, dude. Retired construction worker, very short. Hell yeah. Okay. Oh, huh? Oh, did I? See, worked long years in construction. Now I dance. Honestly, everything else seems fine. He's just a little weird. He's just a little weird. Let's ask about him being short. See, I'm a short man, makes the dancing smoother. Bro, I like this good dude. Honestly, you're good. Have a good one, my guy. I really hope he ends up, like, not being a doppelganger. Oh my gosh. Alright, as we work on this guy, I'm gonna restock while we do ads, and then by the time you get back, we'll be dealing with this person. See y'all in a sec. Even just stopping in, been a long shift at the shift at the shop. Shift at the shop. Let's slap on my knob. And oop. And there we go. Oh, there we go. Restock while the ads are going, so you won't turn away. Gotta keep the engagement going, flowing, else I will never get paid. There's definitely a song there, I just butchered it. There's definitely something there. Maybe I'm getting in the Christmas. Granted, I don't know why I'm getting in the Christmas mindset when it's almost Halloween, and Halloween's my favorite. Maybe because it's getting cold. That would do it. Gotta bloop, and bloop, and bloop. Okay, and then gotta do some of these. Damn. I'm off by 1, I think? We have so many tokens, by the way. And last but certainly not least, there we go. Okay, we are fully stocked. 5 was the way to go, by the way, which is kind of wild. All right, I'm gonna give myself a stretch redeem because damn. Oh, boy. I don't really have a chair or anything currently, so I'm literally sitting on a blanket, on a pillow, on a suitcase, in front of like a table to make it work. Some murder on my back and knees, but I'm only going to be here for a few more days, so I'm not worried about it too much. I will just enjoy having a nice chair. Look, he's so mad. Look at this man. Look at this creature. Look at this conniving. Can I like zoom in? No. I really hope Dancing Man was a human. He was weird. No, he wasn't even weird. He was a joy. He was a joy to be around. Do it for Dodo. Remember, y'all. Do it for Dodo. All right, welcome back. All right, Howard Elkins. Mechanic, clean shaven. Yeah, no, that checks out. All right, what do you... Tired, bored. Like I said, just had a long shift at the shop. Yeah, that checks out. Hey, Howard. Why do you have a name tag on your shirt that says Jack? Yep, that's me. Sure as hell. Oh, you know what? I actually have weirdly enough, a Howard name tag just right under Bio! Okay. All right. Gotta get rid of the quote-unquote evidence. Man, I'm in agreement with Melon here. I don't think there's any humans left. Like, at this point, I don't think... Hey, man, how you doing? Hey, I'm back. How's the new job working for you? Well, you're still alive, so you're doing better than most. I'm proud of you, kid. Not many are willing to take a job that's dangerous. Your job is as dangerous as mine, but you don't get the same respect I do. Ah, well, you've got my respect if that means anything to you. Do you have a better way to determine, or like a safer way to get rid of these guys? Or a better gun so I don't have to shoot twice? That would be great. Anyway. Alright, let's see here. Clyde Dawson. Sheriff, often in uniform, often wears glasses. That kind of checks out. Oh, you know what? Jolly. What can I say? It's a good day to be me. Yeah, that's where it belongs. Okay. I don't really see anything wrong with you. You remembered me from last time. Which is, there's a continuity? There it is. Involved with that. Clyde, alive. Doesn't have anything about, like, how old you are. Okay, let's ask how old you are. Not sure what to say. Sorry, bud. Yeah, no, I think you're good. Oh. Hey, who are you? Hello. Where is your gasoline? Uh-huh. Okay. Hey, so you're the sheriff? Hello. Where is your gasoline? Your uniform? Where is your... Oh, you have provoked them. They have alerted the entity. It will arrive in 60 seconds. Go! Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Break at the doors and get a weapon from the storage room. Well, that's okay. Do not waste. Okay. Okay. Alright. This is what I'm thinking. We hide. Okay. Shh, we're hunting wabbits. Surely they won't see us. I think we have to go out and shoot them. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. These are good. Shift is done. Oh, okay. Well, we need to pick that up real quick. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm really liking this one though. The typing was pretty fun. I'm just really bad at it. So I don't know if other people will think it was a fun one. But this one I would be excited to play with people with. And I'm bad at remembering as far as where things are. Ooh, God. Thank you. Yep. Gotta do you. Gotta clean up all the blood on the gasoline. This pump doesn't pump blood last time I checked. Alright, anything else? Doesn't look like it. I think we're good. Okay. Off to the bus. Hee hee ho ho ho. Alright, what do we got? Uh-huh. How's our quota? Hell yeah. Alright. Doppelganger immediately reveals that she was craving human flesh. Human. Perfectly fine. Doppelganger. You mentioned he was grabbing stuff for his sister. Search database to find out his sister was deceased. Human. He was human! Yeah! Thank God. Doppelganger, his name tag showed Jack. He was basically called himself Jack. Hell yeah. Clyde was human. Boom. Oh, finished game? No! I was having so much fun with it. Oh. Well, that was fun. We definitely have this wish listed, or at least I believe I do. I'm definitely going to do it now. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Yeah, no. Like, Shift at Midnight is very good. Okay. In that case, we have like 45 minutes. Is there another horror demo that we could do? Or is that it? Or is that the end of it all? Let us see. Let's look. Horror game demos. Horror game demos. If y'all know of any, feel free to let me know. Clover Pit was good. Do we wanna? We could Gamba and do Clover Pit. We could do that. Lurks Within Walls is another genre fusion. Survival horror mixing up with classic grid-based dungeon crawling. Lurks Within Walls? Let's see. Lurks Within Walls. Weird. A tense survival horror game that combines modern dungeon crawling RPG with fast-paced turn-based combat. Explore cursed environments infested with creatures born from the haunted art of Trevor Henderson. Wait, is Trevor Henderson who I think it is? Wait. Yeah! He makes some good art. Here. I'll show you. Look at that. Like, look at this stuff. Like, he makes some good, creepy, unnerving stuff. So I'm... Okay, you have my attention. Let's download the demo. All right, let's see here. Just off of what we're seeing so far, we'll adjust accordingly. I would say the ESRB for this would be a lot less blood, gore. I would say body horror, monster definitely, maybe not violence. We'll stick with this for now. Maybe arachnophobia. If actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just put arachnophobia on there just in case. Usually, when it comes to scary monsters from horror games, arachnophobia adjacent is usually the way to go about it. All right, let's see here. Switch the game audio to Lurks. There it is. Okay. And then we'll switch this to, what are we thinking? Oh, let's do this. Let's do this, Mama Dodo. Yeah. What was this again? With Lurks within walls. Lurks within walls. There you go. F-mod. Developed by Here Be Monsters, published by Two Wedges. Interesting. Okay. Space to explore. Okay. A quiet plague creeps forth. Its power lies not in an initial strike, but in its cunning, adapting, twisting, and spreading through unseen corners of the walls where fear has yet to take root. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. WASD, where we spin and look forward. Interaction. This could be useful. We have a scalpel. Patient's name. Symptoms: fever, chills, muscle pain. Treatment: antipyretic for saline solution. Anxious, confused, reluctant to cooperate. Samples collected for lab analysis. 12 to 24 hours. Symptoms: aggressiveness, paranoia, persistent fever. Treatment: sedative, antivirals failed to administer. Observations: irrational behavior, elevated heart rate, 110, damn. A patient transferred to isolation ward, subcutaneous branching observed. Interesting. Can't go that way. How about this box? Okay, we got some painkillers. We can't look in the drawer? Guess not. Alright, what's over here? What, that drawer is nothing. We can't go that way. Alright. Uh-huh. Is that just orb? Hi. Patient, name unidentified. Samples received blood, tissue, secretions. Branching, high concentration in blood and tissue indicating systemic invasion. Rapid growth, especially in dark environments. Additional lighting required to contain expansion. Advanced proliferation, no response to treatments. Abnormal behavior observed. Recommendation, total isolation. Evaluate extreme containment measures. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, that's barricaded if I've ever seen one. Okay, nothing that way. Can I remove it? I was gonna say, I was gonna wonder if he was gonna let me move it. Ooh. The ventilation system is shut down. It's quite stuffy. The air feels stagnant. I was gonna say it must feel stuffy. Alright. Let's try this door. Nope. Can I try this door? Nope. Let's look at the table. Nope. Try this. Nope. Well, it's gonna tell me we can't go in. Elevator power is too weak to operate. I need to find an alternative. Yeah, I figured. Light to dark or dark to light? Let's do dark to light. Oh, I was gonna say that clock was actually quite unnerving. All right. Uh-huh. Surely nothing's gonna come flying by behind that barricade. That'd be kind of cringe. Improvised note. Night guard, I'm sorry I never got your name. We have to evacuate the floor immediately. Before that, barricade the main exits. Keep everything locked and secure. Watch out for aggressive patients. Shoot if necessary. Handgun ammo. We have a gun? Was that a TV or a gunshot? Sentences I didn't think I would mention ever. Before we go, just look around, just make sure nothing's changed since. Nothing. Oh, we got something. Uh-huh. Yeah, sure, let's interact with it. That noise. It's locked. I need to find the exit key. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, I hear something in that vent. Maybe it's a good thing that it's clogged. Okay. There's nothing down there. Nothing there. Okay. A pistol. Seems to be loaded. Let's go! That means we're gonna be fighting soon. Oh, hi. Bigger sphere. Okay. Let's go down this way. Ha ha ha. That looks like a shootable hallway if I've ever seen one. Alright, let's see. Anything over here? How about over here? Ooh. Okay, let's check this out before we go down. Anything? Nope. Alright, what's in here? Crowbar. Better take this with me. I agree. I concur. A crowbar would be useful. Uh-huh. Oh. The door appears to be locked from the inside. Oh, let's check this first. Boxes are interactable. We've learned that. Medkit. Surely we won't need it immediately. I guess not. I seriously thought we would be using it immediately. Power panel for the floor. The elevator switch is turned off. Hi! What's up, my guy? What's your name? Are we just walking? Oh, I thought he had a gun out. Ooh. Cool. Okay, so handgun. Let's do crowbar. Oh, we can't. Okay. So handgun. Let's do legs. Reduces enemies' agility until the end of the player's next turn. Let's do legs. Crowbar? Hey, crowbar, let's go. Let's do body. Crowbar, body again. Did we get anything out of that? I guess not. I guess we just continue walking forward. Nothing. We're just standing in the ash mist of whatever that was. Let's get the crowbar off with that. Ooh, what's this? Emergency note. Power has been redirected to keep the sample room illuminated and prevent further spread. After the area is evacuated, the guard will shut off ventilation, disable the elevator, and contain the patients in isolated areas. The situation is critical. Uh-huh. Okay, we have the exit key. Glad that was just in a box in a random room. We got more painkillers. How about over here? We got more handgun ammo. Seems I can get the door open. Let's go. Okay, can't do anything about these. But now they've introduced, you know, fighting mechanics. Uh-oh. Like this spread area here. Okay, so it's definitely gotten a bit bigger. Plague spreads, reach beyond the limits of your flesh. Claws emerge. What power will you claim? Bone claws? Razor claws. Let's do razor claws, I guess. Well, bone claws gives us more HP. No, let's do damage. Cool. I guess we're not human anymore. Or maybe we never were. We're on the same team! We're on the same team! Special. Tactics. Increase hit and evasion chances until the end of the player's next turn. Oh. Interesting. So first of all, handgun. We'll do legs again. Now we're gonna do razor claws. Let's do arms. Crit. Yeah. Take that with my new claws. That's what you get for standing in a hallway. I can feel it. I can open it. I can sense its call. Sure. Why not? Hi. I'll be with you in a second. Okay, well, I'll be with you now, I guess. Hi, how are you doing? Oh, hi. You looks like you're you're not here to talk, are you? Legs do nothing. That's funny. Let's do arms. Arms again. Arms again. Uh-oh. Ow. Haha. Arms again. Uh-oh. Haha. Let's go. Hell yeah. All right, well. Was there anything? Is this anything that we can mess with? Nope. Just gelatinous growth. Is there anything over here? Or am I crazy? Spooky. Ooh. All right. Poker? I hardly knew her. Where are we going? Why do I still have the thing there? Oh. Oh no! Ah! Orb! Is that the end of the demo? It feels like it would be. Created by Trevor Henderson. Okay. Okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're putting down. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Hell yeah. Oh. We're a different person. See her in position. Enter the building. Oh, maybe it's not over. Targets neutralized. No sign of survivors. Elevator spotted proceeding to 13th floor. Out. Okay. Oh, was that us at the end? Yeah, I guess so. Here be monsters. Trevor Henderson. Lurks within walls. Okay. All right. Good job. Good job, dude. I like it. I already wishlisted before I started. Oh, well, oh. Oh, oh, stop it. No, we're not doing it again. Oh, Whew. Almost got back in there. All right, cool. That was neat. That was a nice little a little taste, which is exactly what we wanted. But the question here is, do we have time for another one, or do we call it a little early? Let's see. We could see. I'm just looking at, like, I just Googled horror game demos on Steam. So we're just kind of looking anything that catches my interest. Because it didn't seem like Steam had a good way for me to search for, like, just horror and then specifically demos. Escape the back rooms. But I am not seeing, because I have like a couple other games that I know I'm going to play, but that's on the day, right? That's on the big 24-hour stream. So we might, hold on, filters, themes, moods, features, no, players, platform, preferences. What would it be? Not a subgenre, right? Visuals, themes, moods. Let's do demo. Type demos. Perfect. No matches found, huh? 0 matches and all the things. Okay, if you say so. Well, I think that one just might be a good area to stop. Let's see who's online that we can raid. Who would be good? Who would be good? All right, Ella is up. Valaza twins are doing Phasmophobia. Cute Boy's doing Ninja Gaiden, but we'll hold off on rating Cute Boy. So we'll do Dead by Daylight. We'll do Ella. So let us raid Ella. And before we move forward with it, thank you all for joining me here today. I wasn't 100% sure if today was even going to happen because how much sleep I got, but I think it was a very good overall stream. We tried different games that I think I'll want to play again with other people to kind of get their impressions on things. And we'll move forward with it. Look forward to see y'all tomorrow for another Sunday chill day where we relax and just, do something as a community together. That has always been an up in the air kind of stream, so we'll see where the day takes us. And yeah, so, and thank you all for your support again for your charity. I'll be sure to, the sticker is now up on our store. You can do ! fourth wall or merch, and it should work last time I checked. So that should be up. And then the people who have donated at least $10 so far, I will be sending y'all a 50% off coupon for that. So hopefully y'all will enjoy the first sticker that we are actually putting out there. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and stick around as we raid Ella. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, have a good one. See ya. Bye-bye.